Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Williams with Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me Nick Newman, who is a center out of St. John's University in Minnesota. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing pretty good. It's always great, having you on. Talk to me just a little bit about your overall career.
So overall, I've been playing center ever since flag football, which is something I know a lot of players have. They change positions, and it's something that I like to say. I played the same position all the way through, so I think that's helped me out. But overall, I played center, and then I started sophomore year of high school all the way through, and then my freshman year of college, I got thrown in at Target Field, which was a third or fourth game against St. Thomas, where there was 47,000 people, and that was something that I always thought was the craziest moment of my career up until now. Playing in front of that many people, and being an 18-year-old going up against a 22-year-old nose guard, which is something I just always thought was crazy too. But that's pretty much been my career. I've started ever since then. So I've started 30 games, and I'm ready for this season as well.
Cool. So yeah, we know we don't know the exact number, but we know it's at least 30 games that you've started. You're going into your fourth year as being a starter at center. Nick, you've actually had a pretty decent career there at St. John's. You've already been a two-time all-conference center. And these past couple seasons have been great for you guys. Winning 12 games is really excellent. Tell me a little bit. There's this one picture of you sort of floating around with the cowboy hat on. I realize that had something to do with you, like before a game. Can you just talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my pregame ritual had actually started my sophomore year when we went down to Mary Hardin Baylor. So, we're playing in Texas. I'm trying to get, cowboyish. It's hot. So I walk out on the field without a shirt on and a cowboy hat on. And I've kind of just stuck with it ever since. Even if it's 20, 30 degrees, I'll just see a little intimidation factor. And I know that picture you're talking about, I had some chops too, but I decided to shave to look good for the little interview here. So
Cool. Well, I personally love that picture. I think it's great. You're like Nick Newmanator or something on Twitter, which I also think is a great thing for you. Nick, there's been a lot of people that have kind of influenced you in your career over the years. Can you just talk to me a little bit about maybe some of the coaches that have influenced you over the years?
Well, my first influence was my dad. He coached me from third till eighth grade. He really helped me become, the player and the man I am today. But aside from him, my biggest influence that I had was Coach Hitchcock, Ray Hitchcock. He played football for the Gophers and the Redskins. He's actually also a center. So, I'm always able to ask him questions, what he thought going up to the line of scrimmage and what was going through his head per play and how to call out all these blitzes and communicate everything correctly. So I think he was probably the biggest influence I've had coach-wise.
Cool. And if people don't already know, you were actually teammates with actually a guy that got drafted in Ben Bartch.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about that character.
Yeah, Ben. I remember coming in freshman year, he was big, tall, lanky, 225-ish. I remember he was playing fullback when I was playing center, so got this big, really tall guy in the backfield. I'm like, what's he doing back there? But then over the last 2 years, he's progressively gotten bigger and better, and he joined me on the offensive line, and it's always been fun ever since. But aside from football, he's he's a great guy. Ever since he got drafted to the NFL, he didn't just stop talking to me or other people. It's not like he, big timed us. And he actually, one thing I didn't tell you is he had a flip phone up until he got drafted. So he finally got forced to get a smartphone. So, I mean, that's the kind of type of guy he was. He liked calling you instead of texting. He was the type of guy to just always know what you're doing. Just a great guy all around.
Cool. And I mean, did you ever try one of those shakes that he's been kind of promoting?
I know me and my roommates last year when we were in our apartment up at school, we tried it, and I think they liked it. I didn't really like it because I know our strength coach actually said it was supposed to be a breakfast, but he worked at about 5 or 6 in the morning, so he didn't have any time for it. So one day he decided to just throw it in a blender and drink it. I remember he said he was holding himself from throwing up, but you got to
Yeah,
do what you got to do to get there, right?
right, exactly. Nick, let's put the focus back on you a little bit. What is the best part about your game?
The best part about my game, I think, is my communication and knowledge of, the pro style offense. And I think being able to call out the different blitzes and everything that happens with the defense and being able to see and adjust our offense and tell our quarterback what's going on and making sure that he can do what he needs to do. But I just think that that's also a good part. Another part that I like is my run blocking style and pass blocking. I feel like I'm more of an athletic center. I'm not just a big, guy that just plugs up a gap, and I feel like I can move people. I can pull and stay with people. I can do all the things they need me to do.
Cool. I mean, obviously, again, we already discussed the fact that your team has been very successful. They do run more of a pro style offense. I mean, they're not gimmicky like some
Mhm.
teams are. Just very. You know, Again, it's mostly pro style. I mean, you're not doing anything crazy. I mean, you have a quarterback who is a quarterback, and then of course you're there. Um, Always being the leader on the line.
Mhm.
Um, so, a couple more questions before you wrap up. Tell me why you play football.
I played football, because my dad, he always wanted me to play ever since I was in second grade. I played football ever since then. So I feel like it's just something that's always been a part of my life. I don't know what I'd do without it, aside from just, playing. And I think that me personally being a leader, I like, being with the other guys and helping them, grow and become the best players they can be aside from just me playing football.
Gotcha. And Nick, tell me just what is your pitch to a professional football team as to why they should sign you and bring them into their ball club? What is the best thing you bring to the table as a you know, as a teammate?
I feel like the best thing that I could bring to the table, especially playing out of the pro style offense, we do run out of the gun a lot. And I know a lot of teams like to do that. But I feel like I can, get under guys that have good leverage. I can run block really well. I can pull, pass, pass block really well. I can call out the different schemes on defense and, arrange everything and make sure that we can pick up all the blitzes. But another thing is too, my leadership. I feel like a lot of people can look up to me, and I'm not just kind of talking crap at them, and I'm actually trying to make people, feel good and want to play and get better.
Great. Well, Nick, I, I think you do have a lot to bring to the table. I think a lot of people might just look at you and say, "Hey, he's a D3 guy," but so was your teammate who got drafted.
Mm.
Um, you again, you're 6'2", 305 pounds. You talked with me earlier that you can bench 225 at least 28 times, which is nice. I mean, I know a lot of guys really like that sort of statistic, that number. And again, just your experience, as a center. I mean, I feel like you have great experience to offer. Again, like you were saying, you've been playing center since you got out of the womb. So that's just
Basically.
sort of how it is. But hey, man, it's been nice talking to you. It's great, hearing about your story, and wish you best of luck this season.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on again. Thank you.
You're welcome.